What are bots? How do you make them? What about apps? And the 59 links that you need to build your very first bot right in the description of this video. Let's go! It was the year 1995. I was a 6-year-old kid watching this show on TV after my homework was over, and there was this guy who comes running to my house and says, "Dude, did you see the news? There is something called the internet, man. It's crazy. People are able to upload files with links to each other, and you can actually go from one page to the next by clicking on those weird things called hyperlinks." I was like, dude, I don't really care, man. Get out of my way. Goku's about to transform into a Super Saiyan, and Frieza survived the Spirit Bomb. I'm not gonna miss this. I don't care if the internet is out today. But you know what? There was one person who did care on that day, and his name was Jeff Bezos. And we both know what it does today, don't we? Let's fast forward to the year 2008 now. I'm at my college and I'm playing this game on my phone after a nice meal, and there's this guy once again who walks in and says, "Man, yo, did you see the news? There's this new OS called Android, man. The phones are crazy. They have GPS, accelerometer, tons of other sensors. God knows what they're capable of." And I was like, dude, are you serious? Java phones, Nokia phones are the best, man. They're unbeatable. You ever see any other phone better than Java or Nokia? That's what I use all the time. But guess what? A bunch of guys made this stupid game called Angry Birds for that silly platform, Android, which I consider to be inferior than Java. And we both know what happened, right? Now we are in the year 2016. And this time I go to the startup event here, and then once again I have this guy, a friend of mine, who runs into me and says, "Oh, Webs, I heard you run an Android channel on YouTube, man. It's kind of outdated, man. Everybody is running on AI these days in Silicon Valley. We have Facebook Messenger, we have Telegram, Slack, Kik, even Google Assistant is doing something on AI, man. Have you ever considered anything about AI? It's a new technology called bots, man." I was like, dude, have you seen my page, zup.chat? It's just a Facebook page for people who see from the outside. But let me show you what it is from the inside. I can just go there. I can say any discounts for me today. And guess what? It is the first bot in India that gives you offers from Flipkart. How do you like that? And that guy was completely speechless, because for once in my life, I was able to do stuff before somebody came and told me what it is. Let's start with the agenda, where we're going to cover the following topics. What is some background information on chatbots? What are bots? How to use them? Some examples. How to build them? What about bots versus apps? And all the resources that you guys need to build your very first bot right in this video. Let's start with the first step, that is where you can find the code and presentation. It's right there on Corsetro.com under the bots course. Be sure to check it out. It's a free course and you can get all the presentation and stuff. So let's start quickly with bots versus apps. So Business Insider is one website that I follow regularly, and I'm sure you do as well. They had this article, not recently, maybe a year old, where they told people that look at this chart. All the messaging apps like Messenger, Skype, Telegram, Kik, they're surpassing social media websites like Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot. And that was quite scary. I mean, even WhatsApp is included in this list if I'm not mistaken. But you're like, whoa, what is the point of this? The point is we are going to a new world where people prefer messaging apps over social websites like Facebook and whatnot. So let's talk about the fourth round of technology. Yes, you heard that right. This is the fourth round where we are talking about AI and robotics. Internet was there in 1995. I was a little kid. Mobile internet came out with Android and iOS way back in 2008. And then we had Internet of Things. But these three are over. Now we are into AI and robotics. And this is your chance to build an absolutely incredible bot that uses AI to do something that solves the problem of people out there. So let's start with what is a chatbot. So a chatbot, as they call it, it's a weird name, I know that. People chat and it replies back automatically, so it becomes a bot. So you combine these two things together and the word chatbot comes into existence. So basically, you use artificial intelligence to kind of figure out. Now here are some examples. As you can see in the screenshots, there is this bot here that is trying to sell you shoes from Reebok, if I'm not mistaken, and then there are options like buy this item or see more like this. And there's Hype Poncho here, which is a very famous bot, by the way, shows you weather and is kind of interactive, is pretty smart, comes into those list of bots that can talk and that can understand you very well. Of course, CNN has its bot. I'm sure you guys have seen that on your message or something. In Messenger, it gives you messages daily if you message the CNN page in return. And there are many other bots. So let's talk about the different platforms for which you can make a bot. Now, I have not included some of the platforms here, but they are there. Like Telegram, I think, is missing from here. But there's Messenger, Kik, WeChat, Viber. Maybe WhatsApp is coming up with its own platform. And there's, of course, Google Assistant. There's Slack. There's iMessage, which is not included here. If I'm not mistaken, even that has a bot platform. And there is, of course, your Microsoft bot framework. But basically, what you do is you are going to build bots for one of these platforms and see how it works out. So here's the result of a survey that VentureBeat conducted for people between the age of 14 to 54 to try and judge. Now, this was conducted right recently in November 2016. The idea was to find out what people think about bots. So they asked the first question, which messaging app do you use the most? Look at their response. Look at that. Look at that. There's 75.6% on Facebook Messenger. That is absolutely crazy. They have not included WhatsApp here, but I'm sure if they did include WhatsApp, a significant proportion of that would be covered. But the reason they have not put WhatsApp here is there is no official API yet that talks about WhatsApp. Now, unofficially, yeah, there are tons of connectors, but there's no official stuff. So there we have iMessage at the second position, if I'm not mistaken. It's 12.9%. And then there's Skype, and well, there's the rest of them. So which platform should I target to make bots? Messenger, yes, of course, definitely Messenger. I mean, you can't skip Messenger for making a bot. But the idea that I believe is that you take one of these smaller platforms in addition to Messenger to kind of let your users on those platforms interact with your bot as well and build what you call a loyal audience on these platforms for your bot. So let's start with this question here that talks about what you prefer. Is it an app? Is it a website? Or is it a bot? And there are 17 people who prefer a bot. The rest of them want a website or an app. That's the problem, right? That's not good. I mean, that's not good. But don't worry. Those numbers are changing. They're improving every day. There are 35,000, maybe 40,000 bots right now at the time of me shooting this video for the Messenger platform. Of course, Telegram and Kik and Skype, they have tons of bots coming up as well that I have not covered when I'm discussing this topic here. So most people currently seem to prefer an app, well, which is quite understandable because apps are currently running. Android Studio just released 2.2 or 2.3. I'm not even sure. I haven't been using Android Studio for 3 months since August 5. And of course, Xcode came up with something as well. And of course, there's mobile websites after apps that people prefer, and then there is chatbots. But very soon, we will see this chatbot thing at least overtake the mobile website one. I'm not sure if chatbots are gonna overtake apps. We're gonna discuss that further as we go in this video. But let's talk about the next part. Now, 57% people use messaging apps more than any other type of app. That is absolutely crazy. I mean, your weather app, your Firebase chat app, people don't care about those as much as people care about Messenger and Slack and Kik and Telegram and Skype and WhatsApp and whatnot. So that is a good indicator that bots are going to give you a solid platform for your users to come and interact with your business every day. And even Zuckerberg says that a business should be like a friend. You need to message and you need to talk with the business, and they can provide your services like they would do to a friend. And that's the next stage thinking that all these big shots in Silicon Valley are going after. So that's with the bot hype stuff there. So the next question, have you brought something via a chatbot? So 55% people, according to the statistic by VentureBeat, have said no to that, which means e-commerce still hasn't taken off that big. But don't worry about it. Once again, these numbers keep improving every day because better and better bots. Yeah, I know the current bots are not that great, but better bots are coming up daily. People are working more on AI, NLP. Companies are using deep learning and whatnot to come up with better ideas. And of course, ideas, there's no shortage of ideas. We have a ton of successful apps, and currently people are trying to replicate these successful apps into bots. So there was 20% that probably brought stuff from a bot more than once. And of course, there's 25% of the audience that only brought stuff once. And next question, well, not a question actually, it's an example of the KLM bot. I can give you tons and tons of examples, and I will take you to the bot stores and I'll show you exactly how you can use a bot and all. But this is just one small clue. I'm sure you guys understand what's going on here. The person is trying to book a ticket from AMS, God knows, Amsterdam, okay, Amsterdam to San Francisco, and there's this message here. The bot says that your flight has been delayed, we are sorry, you can do this, you can sit and do some time pass over here at our airport, so thank you for getting a delayed flight and have a nice day. And of course, you go further, and now we answer the most important question: how to build bots. What are the things? It is so confusing right now. It is so messy right now. Every day, a person out there is coming up with a new framework saying, hey, download my framework. Hey, use my website. Hey, try my AI tool. But this is so messed up. But what is the complete picture? But in this slide, I'll give you the complete picture of what you need in order to build your very first bot. So there are 5 different ways of building a bot. As you can see, the simplest one is regular expression or regex. You basically extract text. For example, hi, what's up? Hi, how are you doing? Hi, how are you? All these have the word hi in them. And if you can extract that word hi, then you can understand that the person is trying to say hi, and you can reply maybe with a hello or maybe with another hi, depending on what you want to do. Now, the other type of tools, I call them drag and drop tools, because back in the old days, we had those drag and drop apps. Don't code and your app will be done by just dragging and dropping stuff, right? The same way, we have these drag and drop websites and tools. There's Chatfuel, Motion.ai, FlowXO, Octane.ai. There's something called Chatron.in as well. So here we go. There's chatfuel.com. It says build a Facebook bot without coding. Just in case you guys are not able to see this, let me zoom in a bit. There's of course FlowXO here that also offers a similar promise, except it says all platforms. Look at the icons here. Slack, there's Messenger, there's Telegram, and there's everything else, I guess. Of course, Octane.ai is quite similar again. And there's of course Motion.ai that does the same thing as pricing over here. Oh, free plan has 2 bots maximum, 1,000 messages per month. Okay. There's Chatron, which is an Indian startup, I think based in Delhi. I have the founder in my contact list. His name is Adit Jain. He's also working on this stuff. And there are many other tools basically, but you get the idea, right? I mean, you build a bot with a drag and drop interface or something that is like, if the person says hi, do this. If the person says bye, do that, and so on. You can check these websites below. And in fact, you can try out your first bot on one of these platforms under the free plan to kind of see how it works out, whether the bot is able to whether the users like your bot or whether your idea needs to be changed or something like that. But once you're done with these, what I suggest is you go to the more hardcore ways of making a bot. So let's have a look at them. So here we have another way of making bots with scripting languages like AIML, ReveScript, Superscript, and ChatScript. So there you go with AIML. As you can notice, it is basically a very elaborate version of writing regular expressions. So for example, the person says, what are you? And your bot can have multiple responses, out of which it can randomly give a response. For example, it says, I'm the latest in artificial intelligence, which can produce capabilities of the human brain and so on. Notice that this is in XML format. Now there's of course the other one, which is ReveScript. This is quite light. If you ask me, it is there for all the languages. You can go ahead and try it right here. And you can see a couple of examples on how to use ReveScript over here. For example, you say hello human or hello bot. The user says hello bot and you reply back with hello human. You can have multiple responses and one of the random replies can go back to the person. Now this way you can handle multiple responses. Now Superscript is there. It is very specific for JavaScript or Node.js as they have shown here by saying npm install superscript-g. And I think this has currently some issues with running on Windows. I wasn't able to get this to work on my Windows machine, but it works well on a Mac, I guess. And this, of course, chat script, which is a SourceForge project. You have to download this. It has all the documentation inside. There's also a medium.com post on how to use chat script. You can simply search for it by saying medium.com chat script on Google, and I'm sure you'll find some solid post and tutorial on how to use this. Alright, it's not there. Chat script, okay, never mind. So coming back to the picture here, let's talk about the next method, which would be APIs. So here we have again a bunch of APIs. There's wit.ai, there's api.ai, Lewis, IBM Watson, Google NLP, and there's of course one more I haven't added. It's recast.ai. I forgot to add it. Sorry about that. So take a look. If you take a look at all these platforms, it's very similar. They are running on the cloud, and what you do is a simple request, an HTTP request every time, telling what the person has said. For example, what is the weather in San Francisco? Now this is the input. You will send this input to wit.ai or api.ai and the rest of them. And what they will tell you in return is that, oh, so you're talking about the weather and the location is San Francisco. And you will get that location inside a variable, and then you can find the weather using your logic. Now remember, they don't find the weather. You are the one who has to implement the code for finding the weather on your side, but they tell you what data there is present inside a sentence. For example, location names, date, times, and tomorrow, today, etc. stuff, currency, numbers, and many other things. Basically, these libraries kind of work in a similar manner. Now, the downside, obviously, is that wit.ai is free. The rest of them are paid. api.ai has one module free, which is Smalltalk. The rest of them are paid. Lewis is completely paid, and so is IBM Watson, and so is Google NLP. So compare the pricing for these, and I think the best idea would be to kind of use the Smalltalk module here from api.ai and then use the main application logic inside wit.ai. Now, the fourth option is for the most advanced AI bots that you're planning to make. That would be native. And when I say native, I'm talking about you and I sitting and writing code inside maybe Node.js or maybe Java or Python to do this. Now, I haven't added Node.js here again. I forgot to add it. There aren't really many libraries in Node.js currently. There are only two of them. There's Node Natural and there's NLP Compromise, and both of them are really not that great, in my opinion. And Java and Python, however, are very mature when it comes to natural language processing and machine learning. So Java has NLP libraries like OpenNLP, LinkPipe, Stanford NLP, and machine learning Becker, Mallet, Mahout. And Python obviously has a whole lot of libraries when it comes to NLP and machine learning. Now TensorFlow is there for C++ as well. And the point is, I have included only the main languages here because, in my opinion, I believe that Python is definitely the best choice for making a bot right now when you talk about all the NLP AI stuff. So that brings the next question. What should I use? This is a huge problem, right? There's so many things. So the first step for you is to ensure if your idea is valid or not. Does the user like your bot? Maybe you built an awesome news recommendation thing, or maybe you built a restaurant booking, or maybe a math differential equation solver bot. Whatever it is, you want to first know if the person is going to actually use that bot or not. So use one of these drag and drop platforms in the first stage that I showed you to quickly validate your idea. See how the people like it. Use some bot analytic tools like botanalytics.co or botmetrics.com. I'm sorry, I forgot to include those here. Analytics are not a part of making bots anyway. So these tools will tell you if the person likes the bot or not. And then what you can do is have either one of these scripting languages for handling most things that people say to a bot. For example, I hate you, screw you, F you, and I love you, whatnot. And those kind of things can be easily handled with one of these scripting languages, or you can use the api.ai free module Smalltalk for doing that. And the rest of the main job that you have, which would be your intent handling, like finding the weather or booking a ticket or doing whatever it is that your bot does. For that, you have two options. You can either use one of the online tools like Wit, which is free basically. There's of course Lewis and the others. You will incur expenses on the rest, but Wit is free. You can try Wit here and you can see how it works. If Wit is not enough for you, then you can go to one of these NLP and ML libraries. In my opinion, that would be the best way to go about your bot. You'll get a complete idea right in the beginning if the person likes your bot, and if the person does like your bot, if users are using your bot in a large number, then you'll be able to actually handle most of their dumb bullshit responses that they post, like I hate you and F you and screw you and whatnot. And yeah, trust me, they do. There's a lot of analytics that I can show you right now. And those kind of responses can be handled without querying an API every time, because if you use one of these three, that is Lois or IBM Watson or Google NLP, you'll incur a lot of charges every time a person says screw you, right? So we don't want to do that. So then you can validate your ideas using one of these NLP ML libraries. So let's go to the next part about bots versus apps. So currently we are at the end of November 2016. Here it is not the correct time. This now here is incorrect. But right now people are building bots and there's a lot of hype. Everybody's trying to make a bot every day, but that's not going to work because bots have their special use case. In 2017, I believe, is the year when you will see what kind of bots can actually work and deliver better experience in terms of how they work compared to apps. Now, bots versus apps, obviously bots have a huge advantage compared to apps. They don't need download, install, upgrade, storage, memory, or anything of that sort. So you say, okay, Vivs, you got my attention. How do I make a bot? Well, here, take a look at all the resources, all the libraries for every language, every platform out there to build your very first bot. And where do I get this list? Simple. Go to botdevelopercourse.com, enter your email, and that will be emailed straight to you. This Excel sheet with all the information, very crucial, very important information on the libraries and how to use them. The tutorials and stuff is right there in this Excel sheet. So be sure to get this from botdevelopercourse.com by signing up. And yeah, the email will come from a guy, Rob Percival, on Udemy. So now we go to the last step. See you next week, where I'm gonna show you how to use the Slack bot API to build a bot for Slack at the same time on the next Sunday. So thanks for watching. Share this video with all the people who should know about bots. This is the perfect time to make your first bot and get this video out there to as many people as possible. Have a nice day. Have a rock solid Sunday, in fact, and I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye. See ya.